Hey there, welcome to the part 2 of the Unit 5. I'm going to show you how to do these things by hand. Well, actually just certain ones. So number 1 and then a few of the other ones I'm just going to do by hand. So please make sure you've watched part 2, part 1. This is part 2. So number 1, you saw that when we graphed it there was no solution, but I guarantee you no solution is not going to be an answer. So what we need to do is we need to do the quadratic formula. So to use the quadratic formula, we need to get everything on one side. And so if you don't recall what the quadratic formula is, it's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, so we have an a value is of 1, a b value of 4, a c value of 5, and a is by the x squared, b is by the x, c is the constant. So we're just going to set it up. X equals negative b, negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 4 squared, minus 4, a is 1, c is 5, all over 2a, 2 times 1. So what we need to do is we need to simplify this before taking the square root. So this is 16. This is going to make 20. 16 minus 20 is negative 4. So I have x equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 all over 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So what is the square root of 4? That's 2. You can do that at the top of your head. So the square root of negative 4 is not negative 2. It's 2i. Remember, anytime you have a negative in your square root, you're going to have an I with it. So I'm just going to write negative 4 plus or minus 2i over 2. And then I can divide both of these by 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. And then 2i divided by 2, the 2's would just cancel out, just leaving behind an I. So that's the final answer to number 1. Okay? So you'd have to do that. You'd have to use the quadratic formula because there's no intersection. If there is an intersection, do that menu 6-4 stuff that I showed you. Now, where is... Oh, so let's go to some of the problems, number 5 through 10. All right, so I just want to do number 6. Distribute the negative. 4 plus 2i plus 6 minus 4i. And then just combine like terms. 4 and 6 are regular numbers, that's 10. And then 2i minus 4i, that's going to make negative 2i. So 10 minus 2i is what I got in the calculator. That's what I got by hand. That's all it takes. Number 7, find the difference. So we did 7 plus 3i minus, and then we have to put the other part because you're taking the difference of this and that, these two terms. So it doesn't really matter if this one's in parentheses. It just matters if this one's in parentheses because you're going to have to distribute the negative to make negative 10 plus 2i. So we have 7 plus 3i minus 10 plus 2i. So 7 minus 10 is negative 3. 3i plus 2i is 5i. So that should be what I got in the calculator. And then number 8, if you want to do this by hand, it's just distribute and multiply. 4 times 9 is 36. So 36. 4 times 2i is 8i. Negative 6i times 9 is negative 54i. Negative 6i times 2i would make negative 12. And then you have I times I, that makes I squared. Remember, I squared turns into negative 1. So we have negative 12 times negative 1. That just turns into a positive 12. So what we need to do is just combine these two middle terms here. This is going to make, 46? Negative 46i. And then we have 36 plus 12. So we have 48 minus 46i for the final answer. And then number 9 is pretty much the same thing. Did I do number 9 on the calculator? I'm just feeling like I skipped that one. I think I might have. Oh well, so I'll just show it to you now. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times negative 7i, negative 21i. Negative 2i times 5 is negative 10i. I mean, I showed you how to type it in, so it's the same process. But negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14. I times I is I squared. Turn that I squared into a negative 1. So positive 14 times negative 1 makes a negative 14. Combine these two terms. That's a negative 31i. And then we have 15 minus 31i. So we have 15 minus 14. That's 1. 1 minus 31i. And that's all there is to that. And then the last one I wanted to go over is just this addition one. Addition signs do nothing. They don't change any signs. So what's 2 minus 9? Or 2 plus negative 9 is 2 minus 9. That's negative 7. And then what's negative 7 I plus 10i? That would be 3i. So that's the final answer. So yeah, there's everything. So thanks for watching part 2. Stay tuned for the other units, okay? So thanks. Bye.